Hi friends, Simit here from informedtrades.com. In this video I want to talk about the concept of gaps, what gaps are and how we can incorporate them into our trading. Okay, so the key points we'll be discussing in this video: what gaps are, sort of provide a definition, and looking at three specific instances of gaps, or the novice gap, which is one type of gap, a pro gap, which is another gap, and then weekend gaps, about how gaps occur on the weekends in forex market. Okay, what gaps are? Gaps are basically when the open price of the current candle is different than the close price of the preceding candle. In that situation, you see a gap. On the screen right now is the concept illustrated. This chart comes from RoboCod at Informed Trades. It shows that every weekend when the market closes, the forex market closes on Friday. When it reopens on Sunday, if it opens at a different price than what it closed at on Friday, which it often does, that's a gap. So this is what we're looking for, and basically this video is sort of, there's ways to trade this. Often, basically what happens is, you can speculate that the gap will close or get filled. So if you see this gap here, you see price here, there's a sell opportunity. So you can see that's denoted on the chart, because in expectation that the gap will fill. Okay, novice gaps those fill very quickly. A novice gap is when the market gaps in the direction of the current recent trend. So for instance, on the screen now, this chart comes from DREBG over at Informed Trades. You see, if you look at the 20 exponential average on the 15-minute chart and the 200 exponential average, you'll see that price going into the weekend was trading above both of those. So at least on a very short-term intraday basis, the market was trending up. Then on Sunday, we see the price opened higher. So this is a novice gap. When the market's trending up and the price gaps in the direction of the trend, that's a novice gap. And those gaps you want to expect to fill quickly. Basically, the idea here is that there's people chasing. So a novice speculator is chasing momentum here, or is being emotional. And then often if you plot another resistance level above, you can sort of get an idea of where the momentum from the gap may run into resistance. At that point, you can look for short opportunities in expectation the gap will get filled. These gaps, especially the weekend gaps, are great for active trading or intraday trading, because a lot of it happens on a short basis and you're looking for a short fill rather than a high probability fill for a small amount rather than a very large fill. So because of that, it's sort of conducive to short-term scalping, active trading type of strategies. A pro gap is when the imminent trend is, or when the market gaps in the opposite direction of the dominant trend, the near-term dominant trend. So on the chart right now, this chart also comes from DREBG over at Informed Trades. We see that the price was trading above the 8 exponential and the 20 exponential, so it's clearly in an uptrend. Then the market gapped in the opposite direction. So this tells us that professionals, the smart money, is sort of jumping ahead and is calling a reversal in the trend. This is that they're shifting the market in another direction. So in this expectation, the gap may eventually fill, but it may be better to view it as a momentum opportunity, whereas expecting that a gap's not going to get filled, that the professionals have stepped in and are starting a new trend, so you can sort of follow the gap to a resistance level. And so you can look at it from that perspective as well. Again, pro gaps, they run opposite to the trend going into it. You want to follow them. They're not about the reversal. Novice gaps are about the reversal. Weekends in forex, every weekend there are even traders that have a whole strategy, or this is basically their whole game plan. Finding the weekend gaps in forex. The open on Sunday is going to be different than the close on Friday in many pairs. That leads to many short-term opportunities. Traders can build a whole strategy around that. That's about it. If you enjoyed this video and want to help us out or share your knowledge, join us over at informedtrades.com. Thanks and best of luck in your trading.